up by Zdebska Tetiana SA42. The topic of DS startup development was to adopt a system for analyzing the level of a student's professional training. It is known that the main task of studying at universities is to develop students' professional competencies. In order to determine whether the goal has been achieved, it is necessary to carry out precise and objective control, which determines the level of educational, scientific and practical achievements of students. The optimal form of control in this case should be test control. Broadly, test control, or testing, as the term means a set of procedural stages of planning, for assembly and testing of tests. Processing and interpretation of test control results, in the narrow sense, the use and conduct of the test. Since the developed startup is a system for analyzing the level of professional preparation of a student, the main purpose is to analyze the level of knowledge of students, graduates and students. Active use of informatization facilities by educational institutions to provide prerequisites for the creation and use of automated tests to control the knowledge of students at all stages of learning. Such a system will be used not only to determine the level of readiness but also to monitor the educational process to organize adaptive learning, distance education. Determining the effects of implementing a DES startup, hourly, saving time for teachers to check their work. Technological supplementary program for universities. Eco-friendly, reduce paper usage. Ergonomic functions with virtually no user intervention. Social understanding of their knowledge and capabilities on the part of the student. Table 1. Calculation of DS startup resources. The startup will use its own resources. All the necessary environments for developing this system are available for free on. They can be downloaded from the developer's site. For the timely development of the system, it is necessary to make a schedule of all the work that must be done to achieve the end result. MS Project 2016 is best suited for this. Class diagram. Main classes, teacher, student, University Commission, MES. The Ministry of Education or Science. Or any user can request a student's level of preparation, and has a name attribute and performs the operation as a student's level of inquiry. A higher education institution has a name attribute, performs operations, provides and stores information. He also collaborates with the teachers and commission class. The teacher has attributes such as name and specialty, performs operations, teach material, perform testing, check work. Attributes and operations are inherited from the class of higher education institution and the methodological commission. The commission has attributes such as name and specialty, performs operations, creates tests, analyzes and finds solutions. The student should have attributes such as name, group, card ID. Performs operations, passes testing. Simulate business process for your chosen startup. The user accesses the system to see the student's level of knowledge. For this he logs in the system, checks the status of the user. It creates testing on its profile subject. It also distributes testing to students. A student who logs onto the system also checks his system for user status. He selects a subject area, passes testing and sends his test for examination to the teacher. The teacher checks the tests and sends them to the system to analyze the test results. The system collects and analyzes all test results. And then the system gives the user a level of knowledge of the students. Construction of use case diagrams for the system. The chart shows three actors. Mainly used is the relation of the association. For example, teacher, to extend testing. Also used include, shown in the example, generate testing, and develop questions. That is, in order to perform the testing, you must first develop questions. The system awaits the results of students' level of knowledge. This is its initial state. To do this, you need to wait for users to sign up for the application. The system checks the user for his status, student or teacher. If this user is a student, then the system waits for the choice of subject area. Further on the system, the student should come to the test and submit it for testing. If a user is registered as a teacher, he or she must first create a test and then test it. Then the system analyzes the past tests, summarizes. When the result is calculated, the system generates the results of students' knowledge based on the analysis. This software was implemented using C# language. SQL Server was additionally connected since the implementation required a database and required close collaboration with Visual Studio 2016. Software testing is a technical research process designed to identify product quality information in relation to the context in which it is to be used. Testing techniques also include the process of finding errors or other defects, and testing software components for evaluation. Because the number of possible tests, even for simple software components, is almost infinite, so the testing strategy is to perform all possible tests taking into account the time and resources available. As a result, software is tested by standard program execution to detect bugs or other defects. Figures 1, 2, 3 shows the successful execution of the program with correctly entered input data. Conclusion: therefore, during the course of testing, as a standard implementation of the program by the teacher, it appeared that the teacher should be able to edit the test or delete it altogether. The teacher can also create many tests. Also found that if the user is not entered in the database, then he will not be able to log in. During the development of this program, there were problems with the creation of the database model and the processing of the database using C# Entity Framework 6. There were also problems with the connection of buttons, edit and delete testing. All problems were solved by learning new information and many database creation tests. Thanks for your attention.